And so it is Monday. So what are the messages for the week during this very challenging, exciting, and unusual time in human history? Coming up right after this. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world right now. Thank you for tuning in. The fact that you are actually tuned in right now means that there must be some message in all of this for you, or you would not have resonated to this particular video. There is a specific message that I am actually going to bring to the forefront today that is going to form the foundation of the message for the week, and then I'm going to continue to throw the Tibetan Mo. Okay. And I'm also going to throw the cards. So there are two particular cards that actually form I've got Death, and for those of you who don't know, this is my Golden Girls. This is my Golden Girls Tarot. That's Dorothea's Death. But then I've got the other one here is where is it? Four of Coins. So I've got Death and the Four of Coins that form the basis of this message, and then I'm going to shuffle again, and I'm going to throw on top of that. And there's a story that I have to tell you that specifically formed the backbone of this message, and I knew that that was the message for today that I had to share with you guys because I knew that that was really important. Every day we go for a walk in the morning and in the evening because it's really not good to sit sedentary. It creates all sorts of stagnation in your body, so it's good to get the fresh air and the sunshine and walk. And we live in an area where there's a good many farms, and there's most most types of farm and animal life. During that walk, we see everything from cows to horses to snakes to everything in between, and peacocks. There are a large number of peacocks right where we live, and the peacocks wander around us as we go on this walk. So it's pretty spectacular. However, there are chickens, and there is one particular chicken that at the end of the walk, at the end of where she's off the side of the road, off over a little ditch, and in a little wooded area. And she's been there every day. And the first few days, I kept noticing that she was there, and finally decided that I wanted to investigate further. At first, I thought she might have a nest in there or something because I saw something dark that she kept hanging out around. And I've actually seen her go across to the yard across the way, and then immediately run back to that spot. And I thought there were eggs, but that's not the case. There is a rooster there who is deceased. So she has, for the last week, not left, at least not for very long, because when she went back, she ran back to she has not left the rooster who is deceased. And the rooster's body there, and she won't leave it. So the two cards are Death and the Four of Pentacles that start a somewhat sad but illuminating message. During this time, as things are changing in the world, my question for you is, what are you clinging to? What are you clinging to? What are you holding? What are you hoarding? What are you holding on to that is gone, that is dead and gone, and that you can leave behind and let go? So that is the first message that I have for you guys. And the story that goes along with it is pretty spectacular. What are you showing? There's another question too. What are you showing loyalty that cannot show loyalty back? What are you What are you continually trying to bring back to life that no longer has life in it? And what is preventing you from moving forward and living your life? And what are you chaining yourself to that is really no life at all? And then with that, I'm going to give these messages. And I think the most sort of goes along with it too. I've got earth and change. As things are changing in your material world, there is a possibility for greater wealth to emerge. And so, and I give this message a lot because it is one of the things that I see so much in people's astrology, and in their readings and in their lives and in the advice that they give. What is the real treasure that you have? And as things change, how are you allowing or seeing the real treasure to emerge? And then I'm going to add some of these to it. And then there's something I would like to say about things that I've noticed in astrology charts. And then I'll wrap up for today. The messages are change, quick change, fast change, a lot of change, requiring strength and adaptability. And strength means delicate as well as rough. Sometimes when we hold too hard or try to force, that's not strength at all. It's just rigidity, and that which is rigid and does not bend breaks. We could see these. We could see the fact that there was a palm tree over her and discuss the flexibility of the way it bends and the suppleness that's really important through times of change. Movement and anger about movement, restrictions about movement, a changing world that has caused a great deal of sadness, and an ending to a way of life has made one realize things about their home and about authority, and the possibilities of what are found in the heart. And when one has time on one's hand and has rest, does one take advantage of it, or does one simply wait for the chaos to begin again? Now, there's a lot of messages in here with all of these cards. There's multi-layers. I think I'm just going to let that be the message here. So, what have you learned about what is truly in your heart when you have to wait? Are you patient or are you impatient? What are you lamenting the end of a certain way of life, or are you seeing the possibilities of a new way of life? Are you, when given the opportunity to rest and dig deep within yourself, how do you treat those opportunities? Do you take advantage of them and use them to find gold and see what opportunities are present, or do you, or are you sad about, and do you use those times to indulge in things that are addictions and not good for you? So I guess the overall message here is, how do you want to view everything that's happening now? Do you want to see the possibilities that are inherent in it for you? And I'm not talking about what authorities are telling you should think. I'm talking about for you. Or do you want to use this as an opportunity to avoid, be addicted, and put yourself through some really bad habits that will leave you at the end of this worse than you started? So the choice is yours. You could come out brighter and more bold and more adaptable, or you can come out completely addicted to those things, those mindsets that are not good for you. So take a look at what's going on in your mind during this time, and it will tell you what your karma is and what your habits are. Now, there's one more thing I'd like to say with all of this. There's one thing that I've been seeing in all the charts that I've been doing. There are larger connections that are happening to people right now. There are larger changes that are happening in the world that are showing up in people's charts. So I'm going to suggest that perhaps normal, what we thought was normal, had the potential to, in many cases, prevent us from seeing, doing, and being who we really are at our core. And there is a possibility that these larger changes are happening for a reason that is much bigger than anyone thinks, and that what we thought was normal is changing. And from what I've been seeing in people's astrology charts, I've been seeing some patterns come over and over and over again in the areas of success, in the areas of wealth, in the areas of health, that are showing that there is a much larger change going on right now that in the long run is going to have a very lasting change on people. And that from the way we approach it in Tibetan Bon, those things are trying to wake people up to who they are and why they are really here through a process we call purification. So my question for you is, who are you? Why are you here? What are your mental habits like during this time? Are you bored, or are you excited? Are you looking at the negative side of things? And are you pessimistic, or are you looking at the possibilities that are in yourself? Are you taking the opportunity to see the things that have limited you and ask yourself, why do I let these things limit me? What are you using this time for? I think that's a very interesting question, because the one thing I've heard my whole life is I don't have time to ask questions. I haven't had the time for spiritual development. There is a lot of, even when we find ourselves harried, or those people who are continuing to work during this time, I know I am, it's almost like I'm busier now than I was before this, but at the same time it feels as though there is a space for many more questions and many more realizations. So we are moving now from one place to another. The question is, when you finish with this, would you like to have moved from moved out of a bad situation to a better situation, or would you like to put yourself back in a situation that you didn't like to begin with, that you were frustrated by, that you were struggling through? And what are the questions that you're asking yourself during this time? What are the things that you're exploring? And what are you developing in yourself? I'm Lucky Links, as always, wishing you success and good fortune in all that you do. If you would like to get a reading from me, 779-302-8009. Yes, I am very busy with clients, but I am taking more clients. I'm also speeding up a little bit on the astrology charts. I've got a groove going, and I'm learning. Now, I still have a big list. But I am still taking charts. There is a wait, and I'm not making definite promises about how quickly these get to people, because when you dive into a person's chart, a whole lot of things start to open up, and I owe it to the individual to figure out, well, how do these things fit together, especially in certain cases where people have asked me certain questions about their chart. But if you'd like to get your chart done and find out why you're here during this very unusual, very interesting time in human history, then contact me, 779-302-8009, or conjurehope@gmail.com. If you want to take a class on how to read the tarot, beginning or advanced, or how to read the playing cards. I got to tell you, the advanced playing card class started, and I got them doing an assignment right now that I think is blowing their mind. It went so off the wall, so creative, and I don't think they expected that I was going to give them an assignment like this, that is forcing them to move out of the habits that are limiting themselves and what stops them from making the psychic connection in reading cards. It's very fun to watch them doing it. I was curious to see how they would respond to the class, and in the class to this assignment, they dove in. A lot of them dove in, and they were like, wow, this is going to be a challenge, but I'm going to do it. And it's really, really creative. So if you want to take that class, contact me. I have one in Lenormand Basic, one in Lenormand Grand Tableau, one in How to Read the Crystal Ball, and one How to Read the Mexican Loteria. If you'd like to take any of these classes, contact me, 779-302-8009, conjurehope@gmail.com. If you like these videos, you like the messages, you want to support them, I'll put my PayPal and my Venmo below. I think that's it. Those are the message for the week. Celebrate yourself, and take some time to ask yourself, what have I been wishing for in my life? Because right now is a time to celebrate, because people have, for a very long time, been invoking what is and is about to happen in the world.